It is currently February 2026. Here I am standing before what's left of the Destiny community. Now, I know I might be coming off a bit dramatic right now, but it ain't looking too hot, fellas. I'm just saying, man. If you go look at any of the numbers online, we can rationalize about it all day long, but I think we all have to come to the conclusion that Destiny is not thriving anymore. It's barely hanging on. And the reality is that Destiny doesn't have the luxury that it had a decade ago. Other games are all around us, and they're good games. Even games that are directly competing with Destiny. Warframe, for instance, is continuing to pop off. Hell, Destiny Rising, which is a mobile version of Destiny, even that has taken a slice out of the Destiny community. And for good reason. That game has so many great features, especially social features that we've been begging for since 2014. The reality is that right now, Bungie's biggest focus is Marathon. And I get it. Marathon has had too much invested in it to not be the focus. But the real reason why I'm making this video is because at the end of the day, whether Marathon succeeds or fizzles out, all roads, in my opinion, for Bungie leads to Destiny 3. Now, nothing has been confirmed whether or not a D3 is actually going to be a thing. There's been rumors passed around here and there. But if you ask me, do I believe a D3 is being worked on right now? My only reply is, who the hell is working on it? No, really, guys. I often get people in the streams, it's like, yo, don't worry, Cross, right around the corner, D3 is suddenly going to drop on us. You still have people out there that believe Marathon is actually Destiny 3. I'm not joking, fellas. There are people that believe that at any moment, Bungie's gonna say, surprise, we're not making Marathon. We just debated you. And it was D3 all along. Fellas, there is no one making D3 because there is no one to make a D3. You can't make a D3 when half your studio is working on Marathon and the rest are doing everything they can just to keep Destiny 2 alive. Which takes us to the point of this video, and something that I need my Destiny community to accept. And what I'm about to say, I know some of you are going to have a very tough time digesting this. Destiny 3 cannot and will not ever exist while Destiny 2 is still breathing. Now, I know right now some of you are closing the YouTube app at this very moment. Some of you are throwing away your Mara cups and unsubscribing right now. But listen to me, Destiny community. Imagine this. Imagine Destiny 2 is in critical care, still breathing, still functioning, but at any moment now, D2 could pass away. Now, some of you would rather keep Destiny 2 on life support for as long as you can. Maybe it's your items in game, maybe it's the memories, maybe it's the raids that are still present there. Listen, I get it. But at some point, Bungie's gonna have to go in there with a pillow and take care of this thing. We have reached a point where Destiny itself has outgrown the infrastructure that it sits on. Not just from a technical perspective, although that is a big limiting factor to Destiny, but just creatively. Destiny has got to evolve. And as much as I enjoyed Renegades and the Renegade abilities, that's not the evolution that we need. It's not Kepler abilities and turning into balls, and dare I say, it's not even a red subclass. I'm not saying that a red subclass or a kinetic subclass or whatever the rumor is going to be wouldn't bring some level of excitement back, but is it truly going to bring Destiny back to its glory days? Dude, I'm willing to bet my vault that we're never going to reach the highs of Lightfall, Final Shape, Forsaken, Witch Queen ever inside of Destiny 2, and that's because Destiny 2 concluded. The Final Shape was it. And so many people I have talked to, man, whether it's been in streams, hell, I was playing High Guard and randomly matched someone who was telling me that he used to play Destiny 2. And I asked him, when did you stop playing? And he said, Final Shape. So many people stopped after the Final Shape. Why? Because for the love of God, it was called the Final Shape. Would you say, hey, this is the ending to the Light and Darkness saga, and you have the main antagonist taken out? Well, hot damn it, fellas. You don't have to be clairvoyant to know that anything past that point is probably going to be filler. And that's kind of what we're living in. Do I enjoy the lore of the Nine? Sure. I like Lodi. I'm getting down with Eris and Drifter and learning about the Nine and getting a lightsaber. But let's be real. Most, if not all, Destiny players are really paying attention to the next big bad that we know we eventually have to deal with. And that is the Winnower. The one who's been controlling things, not even intentionally, but controlling things behind the scenes this entire time. We will eventually reach a point where the flower game will unfold right in front of us. I see a day where we come face to face with the Gardener, with the Winnower, and we see the universe for what it is, at least in the world of Destiny. But my question to you is, would you rather experience that next chapter in the domain of Destiny 2 or inside of a Destiny 3? Now, you may be asking, what is it about a Destiny 3 that can bring to the table that Destiny 2 couldn't? I think optic-wise, everything. Destiny 3 is a new starting point. Destiny 3 is potential, new beginnings, a reason for old players to come back. From a technical standpoint, it could actually be the thing that Destiny needs to expand. We've known for quite some time now that Destiny has been struggling, from memory limitations on our weapons to vault constraints. Guys, at one time, Bungie used to give us full-blown patrol spaces where you would bump up against other players all the time. However, the trend for the past few years has been pushing us away from that. One of the biggest reasons why I want us to move to a D3 is for a potential technical jump to allow Destiny to become the MMO shooter that we always wanted it to be. Look, we've been asking for this inside of Destiny 2, but let's just be frank, guys. Whether it's the Tiger engine, whether it's old-gen consoles, Destiny 2 has never gotten to that point. Just think about it. The last time you ever even ran into another squad out in the open attempting to do a raid was Vault of Glass back in Destiny 1. And let me just say, that was truly a magical experience. To be running around in a patrol zone on Venus, to suddenly find 6 Guardians, all together fighting ads, all standing on plates, and you couldn't help but go over there and wonder what the hell they were doing. And lo and behold, they were opening the Vault of Glass. And at that time, I would have never even known Vault of Glass existed had I not ran into Guardians attempting to open it in that open patrol space. As much as I wish players were on Twitch or YouTube or paid attention to every single twab Bungie's ever dropped, the reality is there's still a lot of players that play a game and only interact with the game within the game itself. And to be quite honest with you, Destiny 2 has not done a good job of interacting with its community within the game itself. A lot of the information you have to get is outside of the game. Hell, for the longest time, the only way any of us could even understand the lore was by watching people like Bife or Mylan. And although I very much enjoy their content, the reality is Destiny 3 needs to be a game that allows players to find each other, explore with one another, and understand the world completely in the game itself. And external sources are just meant to enrich that experience. Now, I don't really even know where to begin as far as the technical jump. Is it a jump to Unreal Engine? Does Bungie do a huge overhaul to the Tiger engine like they did from Breach to Destiny? Do they even have that kind of time? You got me, man. All I'm saying is that if there's one aspect of Destiny that has been missing for a very long time, it is that feel of being that MMO shooter. I think many of us would love nothing more than to be dropped down into a huge open space with other players, with a world that truly feels alive and dangerous, with secrets that are out there that you can unlock, whether you have a pre-made fire team or just people you randomly bumped into while roaming around. One of the most peak moments inside of Destiny 2 history was when we randomly discovered the Whisper mission on Aya. Again, another thing where we just bumped around in a patrol zone to suddenly start seeing these blights pop up, and hot damn it, what a trip that was. Destiny 2 has lost that edge of surprise. Everything is broadcast, everything is disclosed to us, and that ruins that sense of exploration and mystery that a D3 desperately needs. And this seems to be something that resonates with many other people that play D2. Like, there's a lot of people that's like, yeah, I wish the game had mystery again. I wish I didn't know which exotics were about to drop. And look, this is coming from somebody that goes to different capture events leading up to an expansion. But let's be real, guys. For years, even before they started doing these capture events, we already knew what was coming with every single expansion and season. Hell, it's broadcasted on every trailer. It's right there in your season pass. That exotic armor piece, don't worry, there's going to be a guaranteed drop source. You simply just have to do the legendary campaign. And let me just say, even if those exotics are powerful, hell, some can even be build defining, they're not remembered in the same way that our exotics were back in Forsaken. And I bring up Forsaken because that's really the last time we had an immense amount of rarity inside of Destiny. But that level of rarity made you covet people with certain items. I wanted Ursa Furiosa and Shards of Galanor so bad when Forsaken dropped. Why? It's not because I saw a trailer. It's because I saw someone use it against me inside of Crucible. I saw someone use back-to-back blade barrages inside of PvE. And I looked up their exotic that they were wearing, and I saw thy Shards of Galanor. And I knew I needed that exotic. When that Titan was going balls deep into me and all of my teammates at the same time, and he had wall hacks, overshield, and extra damage, I needed to know what that man was rocking. And lo and behold, it was a one-eye mask. When Wave Splitter was instantly melting me every time I peeked around a corner, I knew I had to have it. But these things were locked behind RNG, and Bungie was bold enough back then to make things rare. And not only did they make things rare, they locked things behind certain difficulties. Now, this is where I'm going to lose the rest of you. In my opinion, one of the beginnings of the end for Destiny is when they took away pinnacle weapons. Now, for those that don't remember, or maybe you didn't play back then, pinnacle weapons were essentially a hybrid. It was a legendary, but they were almost as strong, and in some cases, just as strong as exotics. Weapons like Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten, Mountaintop, Recluse, Breakneck, 21% Delirium. You see how I'm like rattling off these weapons? I don't have to go fetch these weapons and their names. No, these things are lodged right in my noggin. Why? Because every one of these weapons were absolutely meta. They were truly pinnacle weapons, and they required you to do certain feats. Most notably, the one everyone hated the most, play PvP, and in some cases required you to play competitive. You want to know what absolutely revitalized the competitive playlist? It was adding pinnacle weapons. So many people were grinding comp to get high enough rank to get Luna's Howl. And then if you got max rank, you got an even better version of Luna's Howl called Not Forgotten. Dude, Bungie was so bold with this. And yes, there was a lot of players mauling over the fact that they didn't have these weapons, but that's the point. You're supposed to covet thy fellow guardian. If you don't covet them, what the hell's the point? You and I both have the same loot. The hell with that. I'm out here trying to measure my peen, and how I measure it is by the loot in my vault. And hot damn, I want my loot to be bigger. Now, some of you are gonna call me elitist, but in my opinion, Bungie capitulating and removing pinnacle weapons, which is what they eventually did, was the beginning of the end. Yes, we had good years of Destiny after that, but the coveting of loot ended with that. After that point, everything simply had a price point attached to the weapon or the exotic armor piece. You knew exactly where to go to get that piece. It wasn't difficult. All you had to do was pay for the new expansion, and boom, you have it. I bring this up, guys, because a Destiny 3 cannot have the same business model, and in this case, loot model that Destiny 2 has had. You have to create loot that other Guardians covet, and you'll never get there by just simply handing out free candy. By the way, this is a lesson that Bungie learned a long time ago. They handed out free candy back in D2 vanilla launch, when you can get every exotic in the game by simply doing heroic public events. Which takes me to the final point here with this video. Bungie, you have got to quit repeating mistakes. The mistake of just handing out free candy is just one example. The portal is another mistake that Bungie themselves didn't even make before. They actually avoided it. Back during a GDC panel in 2016, Bungie explains how they created essentially what was the portal, but they eventually scrapped it because it took the soul out of Destiny. Fast forward to 2025, I think you know the rest. Bungie still added the portal. And I know there's some things worth trying. There's some things worth testing. And hell, I guess if there's anywhere you should test things, it should be here in Destiny 2. But if this was a feature that you yourselves analyzed as being bad back in 2013, when you originally removed it from your game, then fellas, it's a good chance that's still bad today. And objectively on paper, the portal made sense. But I personally think it's the straw that broke the camel's back. What the portal really represented was the loss of mystery and exploration inside of Destiny. A trend that Bungie has continued to push every single year. No matter how many times we've said we want the mystery back in Destiny, we want a sense of exploration, we want the game to feel like an MMO. If a Destiny 3 is being made right now, this needs to be an opportunity for Bungie to really sit down and narrow in on what worked and what absolutely didn't work. And I think the core North Star for Bungie going forward in regards to making a D3 needs to be what adds to the soul of Destiny. That right there. What is it that contributes to the soul of Destiny? And that is what makes your game memorable. It's what makes it stand out. And it's really what Destiny has lost. Destiny is still a fun game to play. I still enjoy jumping in, shooting weapons, popping bad guys, playing PvP. Hell, wielding a lightsaber is pretty cool. And dare I say, I even enjoy the narrative surrounding the 9. But that soul of Destiny has just eroded over time. Whether that's decisions by Bungie, whether it's player fatigue, whether it's just the ending to a saga. Whatever the case, I believe only a Destiny 3 can recapture that. Now, to circle back to our original point, Destiny 3 cannot exist while Destiny 2 is still breathing. That doesn't mean Bungie needs to shut down Destiny 2, but it definitely means Bungie is going to have to stop putting out content in Destiny 2. And look, I play this game, I make content for this game, but to be perfectly honest, if I gotta wait 2-3 years for a D3 and Destiny 2 go dark, then so be it, man. And I guarantee some people are still gonna be playing Destiny 2. But my big concern with this is that by trying to keep Destiny 2 alive, by trying to drip-feed it content, this is going to erode and potentially even push off any potential of a Destiny 3. Now, I've mentioned different suggestions, little things that could possibly bridge the gap in between Destiny 2 and Destiny 3. Of course, only do it if it's actually something easy to do. But hear me out, guys. Destiny Classic. I'm just throwing it out there, fellas. You can give us a Destiny Classic, in Destiny 2 with the 9 saga, wrap it up, give us Classic to mess around with for 2-3 years. We'll probably blow through it in less than 6 months, but it would be a good time. And then we all wait for a D3. So that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.